Hey, hey, hey everyone. Welcome to Ask Me Monday. I'm Vicki Howell and I am here as I am 3 Mondays of every month to, hang out, maybe do a little tutorial, maybe answer some questions. Wait in a second as people sort of join in as we are live. So we are going to be both on Instagram and on Facebook, not simultaneously, but you'll be able to find us both places. So if you miss us one place, you can go to the other or just watch the replay at any time. All right, so every week we check in, we tell each other where we're watching from and what we're making. So I would love if you would put that in the comments section. I'm here at the Yarnier Studios in Buda, Texas, which is right next to Austin, where I live. And it is about to be 93 degrees here today. So even though I'm teaching you how to make a shoulder warmer today, I'm not modeling it for you, but I did take a picture before that I will share in a second of me wearing it because I know you prefer that, but it is so hot and my air conditioning is just now kicking in. So I'm just sort of like suspending disbelief about the whole like winter, not winter thing. All right, so today I've got a bunch of stuff we're gonna cover. So we've got a big giveaway for a brand new set from Knitter's Pride, which I'm gonna talk about in just a minute here. And then I'm offering up a free pattern for this super cute mock turtleneck shoulder. I'm calling it a shoulder warmer because I'm having a little bit of an issue with, not an issue, I just think it's gross. I don't like the name Dickies. It's a weird thing ever since I was a kid, probably because my name is Vicki. Let it go. But they're back, whatever you call them, neck warmers, chest warmers, shoulder warmers. Right now, they are one of the biggest, along with vests, trends in knitwear and crochet wear that we're seeing for winter 21-22. So I thought it would be fun to give you a little free pattern. And this is at vickyhowell.com. If you're watching on Instagram, you can just find the link to my website in my profile. If you're watching on Facebook, I'll add it to the comments section, so no worries either way. So it is a free pattern just for you, and it is really fun, and it's customizable. I have written it for one size, but I have also included instructions on how to make it larger should you need it. But this is a really great accessory. It's a little bit different than, the usual cowl that we all make, all of the times. I love a good cowl, but it's nice to shake things up a little bit. So today, I'm not gonna show you how to make it from start to finish because a lot of the skills that I'm showing you, I've showed you kind of a million times. Stockinette, stitch in the round, just knit, we know that. Twisted rib, it's my favorite. I've shown it so many times. So we're just knitting the stitches through the back loop instead of the front loop. So I won't show you that this time. But what I am going to show you is we are going to we're going to do a little refresher on the magic loop method. And then I'm going to talk about switching needles when you have to go from small to larger sizes, as you do often in patterns with ribbing, so that the ribbing is real nice and tight. Not tight as in constrictive, but it's just real secure. And then setting up for creating top-down raglan sleeves. This is the same method that you could use for a full pullover or for something like this. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So we're going to kick off all of that, but let's talk about why we're here today. Thanks to Knitter's Pride, and they're launching their latest set, and it is called the Self-Love Set. I'm going to actually flip the camera around probably so that you don't have to see it in reverse because I'm in the forward-facing camera, but this is also the one that we are going to be giving away. So stay tuned at the end. I'll tell you how you'll be able to win it. Okay, so let's look at this set. All right, for this project, I'm using a circular set because it's really nice when you have to change different needles for working one part than another if you don't have to go hunting down different things. And that's the great thing about with a set is everything that you need is right here. This particular set is the latest holiday set from Knitter's Pride, and it was put together to be sort of evoke like a book, writing your own story of self-love. So it's their same beautiful wooden needles that you can always count on from Knitter's Pride. I've got the size 8s out because I'll be using them in a second, so that's the only one that's missing. And they're in these lovely sort of like pastel colors. All right, then so that's the first chapter. Then the next one are these little faux suede bags. There's a little crocheted, trying to do this with one hand. There's a little crocheted book marker in there that they've included. And then in here are all of your cords, your keys, and they even created these, let me see if I can get them out with one hand, these little sort of pink stoppers. So sweet. So that's all right here. And then in the last, hence the bookmark, we've got a little bit of journal. So this is a really beautiful knitting journal that's got different call outs for if you're designing or making notes. There's both dot graph paper and traditional graph paper. And then there's also, and this is, I love this edition, the graph paper that's actually used with knit stitches. So you can really see how a design is going to look. And so this is just this really lovely journal to have that goes along with your set. And I love that they included at the end, Knitter's Pride employs 380 women in India, which is no joke because it is really hard for women to get jobs in India because they're often considered a liability because of those pesky children, you know. So I really love working with Knitter's Pride because they believe in women and they believe in humanity. Okay, so along with our set, you are going to need 4 stitch markers, 5 if you like one to start at the end of round. I don't generally do that. I just use the tail, but you do you. But you need 4. These are the chakra stitch markers. You can use whatever you have. These are from the Mindful collection from Knitter's Pride as well. And then I'm using 1 hank each of an Aran weight yarn. Mine is Montoya Merino under the Vicky Howell brand. And I'm using colors A, which is Bernadillo Blue, and B, which is Prickly Pear. So that is really all that you need, except I'm not being very specific on needles, am I? So we are going to be making the collar, which I've already done here, on size 8s. So you can use DPNs, but I get notes from you, from many viewers, that you prefer to not use double pointed needles. So this is where a set is great. We're going to go over the magic loop method, which means that you don't need anything that doesn't come in this set. So we're starting with that, and then we will be moving to larger needles. We will be moving to size 9s, 5.5 millimeter for the body of this. So this particular project is knit from the top down. So this is the top of the collar. This pattern is found at vickyhowell.com, and you can grab it at any time for free. So we've worked 12 rows of the twisted rib. And then we are going to get started on setting ourselves up for switching needles and getting our stitch markers where they need to be to create the increases that create our raglan. All right, I'm going to take a second to get situated here. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Perfect. All right, so first up, as the pattern calls for, and again at vickyhowell.com, we are going to switch needles after we've made the cowl. So the cowl was on size 8s. And the general rule of thumb is usually that you go down 1 size for ribbing. That doesn't mean that it always happens that way, but that's just sort of a rule of thumb. I will talk about this loop in a second, the magic loop, but right now I want to talk about how easy it is to switch sizes. You know, often when you're switching sizes of needles between one or the other, you're working with, you know, 1 circular over here and double pointeds 1 at a time, DPNs 1 at a time, and it can be a little precarious as you're switching. But what's really great about using circulars is that the cords can just act as stitch holders. So you can just change them while your stitches are all on hold exactly how you were working them. So I've changed. Now I've got my 9 on that one. Take that off. And I've got my 9 on, almost, on this one. And these work pretty well without the key, but they give the keys just to give it a little extra security so that your yarn doesn't, the strands of your yarn doesn't accidentally get caught in some of the threads of of the join. Okay, so what we're going to be doing here is we've switched our needles, and now we're going to do what's called a setup row. I mean, what I'm calling a setup row. What we're doing is we are placing our markers where our increases are. For this project, we will be increasing 8 stitches every other round. So to do that, let's talk a little bit about proportions. So for the raglan, what we need is whatever your stitch amount was, and for this I've cast on 56 stitches. What you want to do is you want to split it up by 3. So 1/3 of the stitches need to go in the front, 1/3 of the stitches go in the back, and the other 1/3 is split into 2 for each sleeve. Now, if they're not exact, if there's an uneven number, you can always fudge it a little bit. You can put a little bit more of the stitches in the back just to handle sort of our back girth, or you can add, if there's a couple extra stitches, you could add 1 to each sleeve. It's really sort of more art than it is science. Okay, so this particular collar stretches up to over 17 inches, a 17-inch neck, but it stretches past that because it got over my head, and my head is about 21 inches in circumference. So this this 2x2 twisted rib is really, really stretchy. All right, and then the overall circumference of this is in the 42-inch range. Again, if you need more, I have instructed at VickiHall.com on how to do that. Okay, so what we want to do is our back is going to be half over here and half over here. So for our math, it works out to being 18 stitches, and then 10 stitches for each sleeve. But because I'm doing half and half, we're really only going to work 9. So for the magic loop method, what we've done is we've put half our stitches on what looks like the back needle, but of the cord, and half on the front. I actually did not even, I just sort of eyeballed it. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then you pull out the cord to hold it parallel, just to sort of check your work. But from here, you wouldn't be able to knit like this, correct? So you need to pull out what will be the left-hand needle until you have enough slack on it, and it looks kind of crazy. Now you've got your loops on both sides, but you're just ignoring the cord. Okay, from here, this is just a stockinette round, so we are going to knit, and we're still working with color A for this, 9 stitches. And then we're going to place a marker. That is half of our back. Then we're going to knit 10 stitches. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is our first sleeve allowance, so I'm going to put another marker there. Okay, now we're going to knit all of the front stitches, so this will be 18. But you'll also notice 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that I'm at the end of the area where I had a cord that was nice and taut. So this is time for us to reallocate. So you can just rotate it, pull the needle, or pull the cord rather, and then take what is still, we're calling the left-hand needle, and readjust, and then pick up and start knitting again. So this is the second half of this round. Okay, so that was 6. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That is all of our front stitches. So I'm going to place another stitch marker. And now we need the next sleeve, which was 10. 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. Another stitch marker. And if you're just joining, you can find this pattern at vickyhowell.com, along with links to the yarn and the needle set from Knitter's Pride that we're using. Okay, and then from here we'll just knit to the end because that's going to be the second half of our back. And we're done with that round. You could have a stitch marker there if you like, or I'm just using the tail as my guide. Okay, so we're gonna switch again. We're gonna set up for our next round. Okay, from here, this is where we start the repeat that you are going to be doing until you are done. I'm still using color A. You could switch at this point, but the pattern calls for working this first couple rounds in the same color and then switching after that. I won't focus on switching colors because we have done that a million times. Again, we're just working on magic loop and also on setting up for raglan increases. So the cool thing about working on a project that's top down like this one is that you could just keep going until it fits you. As long as you're happy with how the neck's fitting, you don't even have to alter the pattern. You just keep on keeping on. I've written how many repeats that you need to do to get this exact size, but you could just keep going. If the neck size is not your size, you're just going to increase it by multiples of 4. Again, I've written that at vickyhowell.com. Okay, so now we've done our setup row, so now it is time to start our repeat. And all I'm going to show you for this is just the first row of the repeat because the second round is just knitting plain. So you're no longer doing rib, you're no longer knitting through the back loop of the stitches to twist them. This is just straight up stockinette. So we are going to knit, see if I can get a little closer, to 1 stitch before the first marker. And then we're going to do our first increase. We are going to do a K, F, and B, which is a knit front and back. So that means we knit in front of the stitch, but we don't take the stitch off the left-hand needle. Then we go around and we knit through the back of the stitch. Now you'll have 2 stitches where there were 1, and then you let it drop off. So that's your first increase. Then we're going to slip that marker, and then we're going to do it again. Knit in the front, knit in the back. So now you've got increases on both sides of your marker, and that's what creates the triangle or the V increase that you'll get that gives you more of the circumference as you go down and what will be your shoulders. So then you just knit to the next marker. And if you've missed any portion of this video, please just check out the replay. You can find it on Instagram, you can find it on Facebook, or you can find it along with all 214 other episodes of Ask Me Monday at vickyhowell.com. All right, so now we're to the next stitch marker. All we're gonna do is lather, rinse, repeat. Knit front and back. Slip the marker, knit front, knit back. And then we're going to knit to the next marker. Now this time, since we're using magic loop for this particular tutorial, we have to do our little rotate, pull the loop, I should mention also that I've used the 32-inch cord for this. What's also cool about this is that you will start using the magic loop, but as you get further down, you will no longer need to use the magic loop method, as it will just sit as stitches normally would on a circular needle, because you will have the fabric to take over it. So it kind of transforms right in front of you, which is pretty rad if I do say so myself. Okay, so we are going to the next one. And we're going to knit in the front and knit in the back of the stitch. Slip our marker, knit in the front, knit in the back, knit to the last of our stitch markers. And I'm a English method knitter, but any way that you knit, continental, combination, whatever is cool with me. Whatever gets the job done, you do you. Okay, so then we're at our last marker, so we're going to do our knit front and back, KF and B, slip the marker, KF and B, and then knit to the end. And that is it. That is as difficult as it gets the entire time. So what we've done is we've increased in this round by 8 stitches. So we are going to, we're working this way. We are going to do that every other round. So the next round is just knitting straight. You just slip the markers, just knitting straight. Then you're going to switch colors. I've reversed the colors for this one because that's the yarn I had left. So every other round, you are going to increase. So for our pattern, it'll be a repeat of these 4 rounds, 2 in color A, 2 in color B. And that's all you do until the very end, when you then again, you stop increasing and you just repeat a little bit of the twisted rib action, this time going for a 1x1 instead of a 2x2. That is all there is to it. Super easy, but it just, I mean, it looks intermediate, and that always makes me happy because I like when things look like they're a little more razzly dazzly than they are. And I promised you that I would show you what it looked like on. So I threw this on before. It actually, I think, would be really great if you were wearing it with a blazer. And obviously you could wear it with a long sleeve. Like I said, I'm in Austin and it is really hot right now. But it's really cute this way too. I'm thinking I'm going to make one in black and green or black and aqua, because that's sort of my jam. But I just super, super dig it. Okay, that is that. So next up, before we hop on off, I want to make sure that we do the giveaway. This set, the Self-Love set, is $123 value, and Knitter's Pride has been generous enough to send me another one that I get to give to you. So what we are going to do is, I'm going to flip around the camera so you can see my face. Okay, so what we're going to do is, because I'm broadcasting in a couple of different places, it may get a wee bit hard to manage, so I'm going to ask you to go to my website. I know, usually it's in the comment section here, but if you go to VickiHowell.com, again, you can find that link in the Instagram profile or in the comment section on Facebook, and you'll see the very first post is this pattern for this mock turtleneck. If you will post in the comment section, I need to know your actual name, so because we won't be able to find you otherwise, and also, what is one thing that you do to sort of show yourself a little self-love every day? And don't get all up in your head about this. It could be taking that first sip of coffee. For me, it's fitting in Pilates, and also wine time at night with my husband. Whatever it is, just a little, it could be anything. It could be taking some time to do a little writing. It could take some time to do a little knitting, any of the things. But I would love to know what you do to take care of you. So if you post that, and you need to do that by this Thursday, which would be today is the 25th, 6th, 7th, 8th. By the 28th at 11:59 Central, we will choose a winner, and we will post that. We will post that on Facebook. The winner on Facebook will also contact you and get your address so that we can send you this beautiful set. So if you would like to make this project, the pattern, like I said, is free. My yarn, Vicki Howell Montoya Merino, is linked to from the post as well. And all the other information you need will be there as well. So please come on over on the interwebs and do a little making. And don't forget to tag at Vicki Howell with your works in progress and your finished stuff. I love when you model things, so I get to see your pretty faces, all of the things. It brings me so much joy when I see that you're making some of the stuff that I've designed Yeah. Okay, that was a big nerdy thing. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your week. Please take a little time to be creative, stay healthy, be kind to one another, and I will see you next week. Bye.